I'm glad you can cut this bit.
Hello there, it's Callum here, of course, and I'm here with...
Hot. Very hot. It's about 41 degrees right now where we are, so, yeah. Jeff. My name's Jeff.
Hi.
Jeff again.
Yeah. Cool. This time, thought it'd be cool to have someone else here to talk to me as well about what we would do if we were in charge of Lucasfilm.
And I'm drastically unprepared for this conversation. But
that's alright.
It's something we've all given thought to, I guess, at one time or another.
Idea from this video came from like just someone sharing it on social media. They do that thing, and it's easier, I thought, to put it as a video, link it, and it can be standing the test of time.
Same as all those.
It'll be pretty much.
Yeah, it pops up all the time. What would you do?
Yeah.
Which is probably a three-pronged question, I think, for me.
Okay.
Because, well, it's what would you do if you bought Lucasfilm in 2012? You know, because that is going to be a very different answer to what you would do now. Yeah. Now that there's so much other content in the way, there's a new wave of fans, so much has happened. It'd be a different question. Because obviously, if you took over in 2012, it'd just be grab the EU, run. You know?
Yeah, that's definitely, I think we're both in agreement with that.
So that's really, really simple. And it's far more complicated now. So yeah, two-prong at least. Yeah, I mean, certainly in 2012, that's what I would have ran with. And one of your previous videos, I guess, you kind of touched on the idea that, and what I've always said is after Crucible, put 7 there.
Yeah, definitely.
I get a lot of people saying, oh, well, if we did Heir to the Empire and whatever and went from there, that's fine too. That's fine too. But for me, just because all the actors are the right ages, it's a largely unexplored area. You do have a target because you've got the legacy comics to go towards. So you'd have the formation of the Fell Empire and that sort of thing, and probably the rise of the One Sith. So you've got a whole new faction to deal with. So you'd have a lot of fun with it, and at the same time have a lot of freedom. And Crucible already ended, as I said, with Luke going away. So for me, that makes the most sense. And if it was 2012, that's exactly where I'd roll from.
Yeah. And I think for me for 2012 would be definitely that. It's like set it after Crucible, because you get people to be able to create their own original stories rather than adapting something, which when you adapt something, people will inevitably complain that, oh, you left this out, or you did this wrong.
Yeah. Which is my dream job, is to be behind the director of the book and just whack them every time they do the wrong thing and change something they really shouldn't be changing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be good. That would be preferable. And once again, with the books too, you wouldn't have to cancel the plans that we had. So Sword of the Jedi suddenly now is like the path to Episode 7, whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
And so
if we bother with that sort of marketing label.
Yeah, but there would be a shortfall. There would be a shortfall between the end of Crucible and where you want to start Episode 7.
Yeah.
And so you could just have that book fill the gap. Luke's already said he's going on holidays, or he's going away on an island just to hang out. So you just breach that gap.
Or if the Sword of the Jedi trilogy was about Jaina and the formation of the Fell Empire, you might say, okay, well, we want to make a movie about that. So maybe we want to see what ideas Christy Golden had and have her on the writing team.
Which apparently she had none.
No.
That still surprised me. That's another video.
That's surprising.
That is another video. But I have a tinfoil hat conspiracy about the Sword of the Jedi trilogy.
Yes, we want to do tinfoil hat theory video.
Oh, I'll go get the alfoil. Hang on, we'll be right back. We'll be right back. Boop. No, I do. I've got definitely a tinfoil hat theory about all those books that are written there at the end. Or rather, weren't.
Yeah.
Weren't.
I think we can definitely talk about that all in a separate video.
Excellent. Yeah, as I said, it'll be a different video. So, yay. Yes.
And then people, well, of course, you want to have your production of your comics still under Dark Horse from 2012, and keep LucasArts producing Star Wars 1313 and other games that you'd have ideas for.
Yeah, I don't know how difficult that would be. So that would depend if Disney was still the purchaser. If I was still the purchaser, it's Dark Horse all the way.
Yeah.
But given their vested interest, I can only assume that Disney would want Marvel doing the comics no matter what.
That's two separate things as well. That'd be your third prong, would be you go in charge of it and own it, or you go in charge of it and Disney owns it.
Yeah, so you are essentially Kathleen.
Yeah.
You look nothing like Kathleen.
You look a little bit different, yeah.
Oh, if you squint. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Spot on. So, yeah. that would be the other thing, I guess, with the prongs. So, I guess we've just nutted out what we'd do if we personally had $4 billion in the back pocket, which I don't.
No.
No.
But I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. You know what? It probably is going to be worth $1. And, I can't say that.
Tinfoil hat theory video.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That'll be it. I'm saving my money now. Yeah, so that would be it. So if you were in control of it, but Disney still owned it, it would still be a different kettle of fish. Because you've got so many other things, I guess, to deal with in terms of publishing and rights and just exhausting.
I think you could still... Well, Del Rey still does the books. So you could keep that with the older authors, which probably wouldn't be as ostracised with the decanonisation.
Yep.
So that'd still be going on fairly well, I think.
Keep Leland right where he is.
Yeah.
Just right there. Continuity,
Well, yeah.
keep him just...
Continuity, and if Alan Korsh still left Lucasfilm, I think I'd hire at least 1 or 2 more people for continuity editors.
Oh, me and you, clearly. Continuity editors.
But we own it, so we're going to
yeah.
be president, so it'll be a different job.
I don't want to own it anymore. I want to do continuity.
Oh, you can work for me then.
Excellent. And that's capitalism. I now have a wage. Yeah, so it would be a very, very different beast. I guess if you owned it under Disney. And, yeah, I'd still try and keep that continuity going as far as I could. Still essentially do the same plans, just that I guess, unfortunately, Marvel would have the comic rights.
Yeah.
Unless you can somehow wriggle your way out of that.
I'm not sure what sort of approval system it goes through. So you'd have to understand that. But if it goes through Lucasfilm, I'd be trying to say, look, we don't want to really approve them if we know that some pieces of art are just traced from the movies or from other
they wouldn't
fan
do
art.
that. No. What are you saying? They wouldn't trace fan art?
That they can't draw?
This is disgraceful. You'll have to edit this bit out. We can't be saying that.
Refer to Eckhart's Ladder's videos for more information on stolen.
We will put the link nowhere. Just go find it. Like, use a search bar. And that's at the top. After this video.
Star Wars comics, stolen fan art, Eckhart's Ladder. You can probably YouTube search that and it'll come up.
He's got at least 3 now.
Yeah.
Yep.
If not more.
Oh, if not more. Every issue that comes out is just more traced fan art.
Yeah.
They should just hire the fans to do the comics. That'd be easier.
Yeah. Or at least pay them a royalty for the designs and that.
Yeah. Surely.
Business practices. Oh, yeah.
101. We're here for business now.
Yeah.
We're open.
Yeah. I'll also be at the same time talking to the people that work at Lucasfilm and trying to understand the whole situation there as well and getting all the nitty gritty of how everything works, as a good boss would do.
He is a good boss. I've been working for him now for 30 seconds. A minute? About a minute. I'm the continuity editor now.
So you get to edit the continuity of the video.
No, that's you. That's your department. I'm not editing this mess. This is a mess. This is chaotic. This is all you.
We could just have it raw.
Are we not doing context?
No problem. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cool.
So, then I guess we go on to... That pretty much sums up the other bits, but go on to what we would do if we were put in charge of it and buy it now. And I'm going to say this from the context of we buy Lucasfilm and own it.
Excellent. I like this plan.
Yeah.
Instantly destroy everything that's happened in the last 4 years. No. No. See, that'd be too easy. That'd be too... Well, it'd be easy for me and terrible on a whole new legion of fans.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a problem. That's why a 2012 buyout or ownership is so different from now. Because we do have a lot of fans of the new stuff.
Yeah.
And you can't do to them what was done to the older fans, because then, you're just going to have this back and forth.
And I guess most of the people watching this would know exactly how you feel when that happens. And so I wouldn't want to repeat that.
Whereas I'm old enough and I remember, hey, back in my day, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. I think we both lived through that.
Yeah. Barely scratched through it.
It was worse than the Emu Wars.
It was worse than the Emu Wars. Also Google that after the video. Emu Wars, Australian Emu Wars. Yeah. Horrible stuff. Yeah, horrible stuff. We still bear the scars.
Yeah.
For me, I think Look, you're in a pickle because there's a lot of things to consider, and at the moment you've got to consider that their sales generally are down for merchandise, for books, for comics. They've wound back how many books are going out. They're winding back how many comics are going out. They've certainly wound back how many figures are going out.
Yeah.
Like, I remember growing up, I used to go down to my local department store, and there was an aisle. There was a Star Wars aisle, and you could walk down one end and up the other, and there was just figures and ships and Lego and all kinds of cool stuff. And now it's like 3 bays. And by 3 bays, I mean pegs. And they're all rows. So, you've got a problem there to try and have an uphill battle for a start, because what you'd ideally want to do is run them together. So have EU as one continuity and run the old one as the other.
Parallel timelines,
Parallel timelines, which, is just a product of where we are now.
I think going around a lot, especially a couple of years after the decanonisation of the EU, was the hashtag continuation, not integration. So that's the sort of idea that
I like
we'd
that.
be going for.
Yeah, I like that. No integration, please. I saw that comment actually the other day on a YouTube video, and I'm going to paraphrase here. But yeah, there was someone who was saying, I don't get EU fans. Like, they complain when EU elements are borrowed for movies and the new stuff and whatever, and they also complain when the law is changed fundamentally. Are they never happy? I was like, well, no, neither of those things are what I want.
Yeah.
I would like the EU continued, please. That is a third option.
And that, going back into a bit of the history with the first billboard, was one of the big misunderstandings that happened as well. Tinfoil hat theory video.
Tinfoil hat theory video. Yeah, definitely. We're going to go through so much tinfoil. It's just going to be behind just little scrunchy balls of tinfoil.
We're just going to cover the whole chairs with it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You'll come back and it'll be like Dexter, except rather than plastic, it's just tinfoil covering every surface for no apparent reason. Would that cool the house down or heat it up?
Heat it up if it's getting all the sun.
No, we're not doing that. It's already terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I'd definitely run them both parallel, I think. And in saying that, why I brought up marketing before and their sales is that there's almost not enough sales at the moment to support one line of comics, let alone 2, or one line of books, let alone 2. You could argue, obviously, that EU books would sell better. That's probably an opinion that could be right or wrong. I actually don't know.
You'd have to try and work it out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because
you'd try probably releasing one of each, depending on your budget, and then see which one does a bit better and go off of that, as you would with your normal marketing.
Because if there's not enough sales to support one line, splitting that meager sales between 2 is probably going to be a bigger disaster than we've already seen.
Yeah.
Which is saying something.
Yeah. And if you see that one timeline's a lot more profitable than one's losing money, then you're not really going to go with the one that's losing money, definitely from a business perspective.
Yeah. Which, once again, brings me back to why didn't we continue the EU?
Yeah.
Like your little hashtag, which I don't know where you got the idea from, the We Bought Legends hashtag. That was a great idea. Whoever you got that from. But yeah, that general concept, it's the same thing. The sales, the people who know where the sales figures were are Lucasfilm. They know to the dollar, to the cent, how much EU material was selling before they decanonized. And if that wasn't enough, and their sales are dropping now below what it was in 2012, I think we've got a big problem in terms of trying to
raise it up again.
Yeah, like trying to raise it to a point where it's
profitable. We want to make Star Wars popular again, and especially after everything's been done, the public perception of Star Wars has changed a lot.
Make Star Wars great again. We're going to have tinfoil and red hats, red baseball caps.
We're going to have our red hats with the tinfoil on them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it fits. It works. So we've got, I guess, so much there to tackle in terms of marketing, sales, making it profitable, because apparently they want a profit still.
It's a business.
Weird. Profits, what is that? I mean, you've also got, I guess, 1313, which would be a fantastic starting point, because as far as I understand, that game is nearly done. Yeah.
And they'd have the files there just to finish off.
Oh, some interns probably deleted them by accident,
And Escape from Dagu's done.
Yep, that's done. That's just sitting around.
And probably other works that were submitted that
Mhm.
were going to go ahead that we didn't
Like
hear about.
Lightsiders?
Yeah, Lightsiders is one of them as well.
Which ended up just being Empire's End or something anyway. I can't remember now, but we should
No.
probably try and dredge that up.
Yeah.
It's written. Whatever it is, it's written.
It's written, and
It's
I've
written.
heard the author has it, but he doesn't want to release it to anyone or say about it. Because, of course, some authors are a bit funny about that as well.
Yeah.
Because they want to keep it in case Lucasfilm... No, because some of them were given the money for it and they think that they shouldn't release it.
Which is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Terrible, but, hey. As Lucasfilm, we'd be able to contact them and go, hey, you got that story?
Yep.
Let's go publish it.
We'll buy it for $1.
Yep.
We'll buy that for $1. Yeah.
Cool.
No, but yeah, 1313, and the novels once again being
Yeah.
done. There's very little financial outlay because you've already got the content.
It'd just be cost of printing.
Just print it.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
So yeah, unfortunately, there's just so many fans now. The newer stuff that you can't put out the same way we were. That you'd have to run them side by side.
Yeah. And looking at what... I got some notes here that I wrote down earlier.
And I'm having a sip of whatever
Is
this
that
is.
one of the things I would do is have a separate continuity error for the new canon and the EU.
Mm.
So that everyone can keep their heads on straight and be able to say this is new canon
Yep.
and this is EU and have them completely separate timelines that don't intersect and try and borrow stuff from each other.
Which would be lovely.
Yeah.
Stop touching my timeline.
And come up with stuff that's original, not just take it.
Yeah. Yeah, original storylines, you know. I mean, I don't know. For me, I can see why they borrow so heavily because for a lot of people, there's a certain Star Wars feeling that that you've got to have, which has already been established over the course of, 37, 38 years, whatever it was under Lucas. So you've got to have that feel going forward, and the best way they can get that feel is to go back and grab the old stuff.
Yeah.
And so trying to keep the
And-
timelines separate could be difficult.
Yeah. And someone would think of an idea and then they probably go, oh, well, this was done back here.
Which by this point it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the ideas have already been done.
Yeah, by the time you start incorporating West End games, the original Marvel run, some of the blog posts, the short stories that were posted online, there's a lot of material there. It's all been done.
Yeah.
It's all been done.
And so the search for originality would be a tricky one, but it would still be worth pursuing because you want them separately and you still want the Star Wars feel to it.
Yeah, which can be difficult,
Which
I
I'd
guess, to
say-
grasp.
Personally, new canon has a quite different feel anyway.
No comment.
And so you can go after that different feel that the new canon fans like and keep the EU feel for the EU.
Yeah, definitely. Keep the quality for the EU and keep the... What? What's going on? You can't say that. No, it
Yes, you
is.
can.
There is an enormous difference. I guess there is an enormous difference in... I don't know if it's even quality, unless we're talking about stealing fan art, but I think there is there's a rushed feeling to everything. It's rushed, it's heavily borrowed, continuity doesn't seem to be... I don't know if you've ever made your list public, but there is a list floating around
Yeah, I
of
haven't made it public.
continuity errors that is
I think I've shared it with 1 or 2 people.
startling.
Because I haven't read them myself, but I've heard from people about new canon continuity errors that, well, we'd need to clear that up, wouldn't we?
We would need an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
An encyclopedia of errors would be a nice starting point.
An encyclopedia of retcons.
Oh, that'd be a big encyclopedia. Get Leland Shee on the phone. Get him on the phone. We need this encyclopedia now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really. I know what I would want to do, but it's not that easy when you've got a whole bunch of
Yeah.
marketing stats in front of you and things you've got to deal with and
I
fans.
think that's definitely as well where I was saying you need to understand how the business is working and get to know everything from talking to the people as well.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing things as being fundamentally better. So if you were going to can the EU, and then whatever you did afterwards, the sales went up, the product output went up, the quality went up, the continuity quality went up, and the fandom grew, then you'd almost be at a point where you can say, okay, getting rid of the EU was a clever move.
Yeah.
But in the space of, what's it been, 5-6 years?
Yeah.
And the sales have gone down, the comics have gone down, they've pulled back on the publishing.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't actually the smartest move.
Yeah, and you look at that and go, yeah. Business mindset sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So, poopy.
But, what else have I written down?
What else have I got on the top of my head?
Dave Filoni, people love him.
I'm going to go top up my drink.
All
You're on your own.
All I really wrote was that people really love Dave Filoni, but
they?
I'd just leave him where he is. Casual fans love Dave Filoni.
Oh.
There's a lot of new canon fans that love Dave Filoni.
Oh. Well,
So-
luckily, under my system, where I'm going to have the two continuities running separate, they can have him. That's fine.
Yeah, that's
Totally
what
fine.
I was going to do as well. Leave him where he is.
Oh,
doing
beautiful.
The new canon stuff.
Yeah. Stunning move. Stunning
Yeah.
move. So don't
So
worry,
it's
mate.
gonna
We've got the EU covered. You just do your thing.
Oh, yeah.
Do your
And the
thing.
rest of the story group, well, I'd have to talk to them and work out exactly where they stand and everything. But like,
Well, we'd have to send a rescue mission to get Leland out of whatever hole they've thrown him down. So we'll have to do that first, because I don't know what's happened then. A quick tinfoil hat theory again is when you look at his tweets and when you look at what he's been saying, there is almost a direct correlation between the tweets he said under Lucas and what he's put out now. Whereas under Lucas, he had a quote, and once again, I'm paraphrasing because my memory's not that great. I'm getting old. And he had this quote where he just said, we're looking at one continuity, everything forms one, law, everything, singular. And then he almost had the direct opposite under Disney, where he just said, everything's malleable, everything can change. The fact that IG-88 or someone is a droid can change. Whoosh,
there is no truth in legend.
Yeah, there is no truth. Which was almost, just almost a complete flip
Yeah.
on what he'd said before, and it almost sounded like a cry for help, if nothing else. Just like, help! Let me
Well,
out!
at the least, it's a very clear, something you can see, very clear to people who read it, the different way that Lucasfilm
And how it's being-
managed now.
Yeah, and how it's being handled. And the other one, what was that other absolute clanger that he came out with, was Leland Chi, help! What was the other quote?
Well, I know.
Bail me out of this.
I know one that was saying the art books aren't canon.
Oh, there we go. That's good.
The
That's good.
reference, because someone was
Not
saying
canon.
Exar Kun was referencing one of the solo art books, I think, and they were saying that, oh, nah, Exar Kun isn't canon
Yeah.
because those mentions aren't canon.
It was a misprint. We're sorry. The writer was looking at an EU book at the time. We apologise. No, the other one I just remembered that Leland said as well was, apart from the truth problem, which was already big enough, like, oh no, was that he wasn't a part of the decanonisation process. So when that decision was made, now he's the continuity editor, he's been at Lucasfilm for yonks by that period,
Yeah.
and they've just had a meeting and he wasn't invited? The continuity
Yeah.
editor was not invited to the decision to cut the continuity off? The fact that
Yeah,
he came
that
out
was
with
really
that
weird.
was once again almost a cry for help, just like, I wasn't a part of this, I'm sorry guys, I don't know what happened to the EU. So, yeah, I'd like to definitely talk to some of the employees,
Yeah.
some more than others.
Get an understanding of exactly what happened.
Yep, and why,
Yeah.
and why. Because once again, as I said, if things went up, then they've made the right
Yeah.
decision. It hasn't gone up.
You can say that, well, there really is no argument for continuing the EU if the other stuff was so successful.
Which is not. Is not.
Yeah.
And then you bring out something like 108, which, while I have mixed feelings about it, sold very well. And then you've got to ask yourself, well, how has that happened, where you make one comic with the Legends banner and suddenly it sells like hotcakes in the middle of all these other comics that...
Yeah.
There's up and down, mixed feelings about most of them. I don't think it was the best-selling comic at the time, but the fact that it was anywhere near the top was
I
impressive.
think only one Star Wars comic was above it when I looked.
Yeah, so, it's...
And I think those numbers are from when it was released, the month of release, so that was near the end of March.
Yep.
Rather than the month afterwards.
Getting the actual sales figures
Yeah.
of all the people going and picking up their orders. Yeah, so there's that kind of thing, I guess, to consider as well. When one EU thing is dropped, like the Jaina Solo figure.
Yeah.
Was that not number one on Amazon when it came out,
Yeah,
or something?
sitting back
Something
there.
ludicrous.
Sitting back there. And all of the votes in the Hasbro fan choice polls for EU characters.
Which then sold. Weird. How did that happen?
And then that year when everything mucked up, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, where's my Ben figure? Where's he
Yeah,
gone?
anyway.
I want Ben
I think
Skywalker.
next thing I have on my list is talking to the employees and talking to them and looking at their social media and conduct.
Oh. Well, I'm not employed then. I'm gone.
For the current employees saying that, for example, Pablo Hidalgo protected his account on Twitter and isn't interacting with fans at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to know why, because he's been such a big figure of interacting with people previously.
Mm-hmm. Once again, he's down the same hole with Chi. They just occasionally throw scraps in a basket. They just winch a basket down and they get scraps.
And when he's questioned about stuff, he seems to, as far as the conduct goes, especially seen after release of The Last Jedi 2017, there were employees that Lucasfilm had that didn't act very well on the social media in regards to the fans.
No, but it's not like they were main, actors or anything, so that's okay.
Mm.
Yeah. By the way, I'm sure that Lucasfilm has no employees down a hole. I feel it's important to say that for litigation purposes.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor. They're not down a physical hole, we think. So, it's...
Unless that's where the Lucasfilm archives are with Escape from Dagu and Lightsiders and all that.
I'm going down the hole myself. I'm going to go find these books.
Yeah.
It's probably the last thing in the EU I haven't actually read, so I'm going down the hole straight away.
I had some ideas as well. It's like, I can do some animated shows for adaptations of the novels, which would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I'd definitely be going to TT Games and asking for a Lego Legends game.
Yes.
Because I think that would definitely be introducing people that are younger to the EU stories.
Imagine a Knights of the Old Republic Lego game.
Does it have the same mechanics?
Yes, exact same mechanics. It's just Knights of the Old Republic, but with Lego.
Yeah. Instead of dying, you just fall to pieces.
Just the coins. Because every time you die, just ping, coins go everywhere. Yeah, it'd be the same game.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of under Disney as well, if we get it now, that I'd actually approach Dark Horse and see if they want the rights to the EU and keep the new canon rights with Marvel.
Yes. If that's a thing that can be done, make it so.
I'm sure it could be.
I'm sure it could be.
Just work out where the rights are.
Hey, you own this thing.
Yeah.
I just work here.
I just have to figure out the logistics.
Yeah. I just work here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I was thinking of, if the sales are better for EU content, that I would cap off the new canon timeline back at episode 1 at the moment, The Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
And then finish on the now episode 9.
Yep.
Keep it as that single timeline there.
And mark it as Infinitives. The Infinities trilogy. Look for that. See, now, another interesting thing, which is another sideline, and I apologise to everyone who has better things to do.
Well, you're watching us.
Yeah, you're watching us. How exciting can your life be? So, one of the things with the EU, if we had to bundle it up now, if someone came to us... So this is the reverse. So you're saying to bundle up Disney's canon into one neat bundle. If I had to bundle the expanded universe up, I think my plan essentially would be to make like a Essential Guide to Warfare 2. Because that book covered the entire history of the law, like right back to the formation of Coruscant and the wars that were going on there, right up to the very end of Legacy, and within that book you could explain away how things ended, so you could tie up all of the storylines that haven't been tied up in one book. And while that's always been, I guess, a plan B for the expanded universe in my mind, I guess we could make that the plan B for Disney's canon instead. Give them one book that covers a whole lot, says this is what happened, and there you are. Thanks for playing. Goodbye.
And then people can enjoy that timeline and you accept it as a piece of
Enjoy is a very strong word.
People that can enjoy it can.
They can. They can. Absolutely. Yeah. No, they definitely can. They can do that. They can do that thing.
Thinking of that, if I was to wrap up the EU, you could even just, as long with that essential guide, just release some short stories if there were loose ends to certain plot points that were important.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just like the bloggy things that they used to do.
Or even just release like a Tales of the First Order or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
That sounds horrible. Tales of the...
You are banned. You are banned from ever saying that again.
Like a Tales from the New Republic sort of book.
Better.
With the short stories collections that would tie everything up.
Better.
That's what I was thinking of.
Good. That sounds better. That definitely sounds better. What's going on here? Everything's supposed to be on silent. I don't understand. How embarrassment! Oh, the joys of editing.
Fun. Well, just leave it in.
Yeah, it's fine. That was my agent calling, saying, "Why are you talking about buying Disney on the internets, plural, both of the internets, both of the canons?"
Yeah, and also okay, this would be something to negotiate. We have to negotiate with Disney, but I want the movies, if we were to make more movies, to be special events again.
Yeah.
To be like 2 or 3 years apart at least.
Yep.
So
100%.
to actually have more quality put in them.
Yeah.
For that and.
Well, I mean, they used to be
Time and
enormous
effort.
events.
Yeah.
I was a
You
tiny...
had 3 movies 3 years apart, and then you had Ages, and then you had the next 3 movies 3 years apart each.
Yeah. No, I couldn't disagree with that at all. That was probably one of the things that... I know people talk about fatigue, and fatigue seems like a strange word to use when it's something that you love, but that did seem to hit them pretty hard. The whole kind of, oh, not another one already.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And
So...
yeah, from what I observed, my thinking is that there was a lot of deadlines to say you have to do a movie every year, and that's something that reduced the quality as well. Cause
That's
they
a rush.
Couldn't put as much time and effort into
That's definitely a rush.
it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure under Lucas, the first year was just principal photography.
Yeah.
So to do the entire movie in 1 year, that's a rush.
Yeah.
Doable, clearly, but a rush.
And there was.
Oh, and this might sound like madness,
Yep.
but plan the movie trilogy before you make it.
What?
Yeah, like
A
all
plan?
3. Yeah, all 3 movies. Like just say, hey, this has got to be the arc through all 3 movies. It sounds crazy, I know, but it just might work.
I don't know we can do that.
Oh,
I think we might need to bring in George Lucas.
Bring him back!
Yeah.
Bring him back, episode 7, The Crystal Skull.
But I think that George Lucas is, like, he wanted to get away from it.
Yeah, well, that
And
became
so-
evident when he sold it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I think, as far as coming back as an advisor, maybe,
Yeah.
it'd be cool to really talk to him and get down to understanding his perspective on Star Wars.
That would be a big one, wouldn't it?
would be.
I'm looking forward to that as like an autobiography at some point.
Yeah.
Like 10, 20 years from now.
There's a biography written of him. I've just got
Well,
to wait
yes.
to read. But him to write it himself would be quite different.
And the sort of thing with the Dead Man Switch is like, release this after I die. I don't want to deal with the fallout now. Just a big tell-all. Biography.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be fun.
I think we mentioned reviving LucasArts.
I thought you were going to say reviving Lucas. I'm like, what's happened to him? Yeah, reviving
Yeah.
LucasArts.
I would definitely.
I mean, I guess that's a business decision again,
Yeah.
because, I mean, I don't understand in my own mind how they ran out of money. I've heard the story, I've heard how it's happened, but at the same time, when you consistently have such high quality, and you're
Yeah.
winning so many awards, and you're getting so many sales, I don't understand how it comes crashing down like that.
That comes to talking to the employees and working out what happened. But I would, looking at it, because they were quite successful with the games, is what I was seeing was
There
a
wasn't
management
a lot
decision
of-
to dissolve
yeah.
it and not an actual money loss there.
Yeah, because there was barely any duds. I can't think of a LucasArts dud. There was a few games that were better than others, but I can't think of one that just bottomed out. They all sold. They all sold
All
pretty
the
well.
Star Wars games sold really well.
Yeah, well, you slap Star Wars on it, and
Yeah.
anyone will buy it. Apparently, that's been proven now.
And I'm not sure about some of the other games like Indiana Jones and a couple of the others, but I know Star Wars mostly, so
Yeah.
they've all been really successful.
Curse of Monkey Island. Make it a thing. Curse of Monkey Island.
There we go.
Yep, got to continue that.
That reminds me of Kim Possible.
Well, but now we see the difference in our ages.
Yes. I just remember the monkey guy in Kim Possible. Yeah.
There was a monkey in Kim Possible. Today I learned.
There was a guy that transformed himself into a half monkey in Kim Possible.
And I thought my tangents were bad. Here we are.
There we are.
So welcome back to Kim Possible Talk.
And I think the last thing was, we've mentioned we want to make sure to keep it separate parallel timelines, but some people seem keen on the idea of trying to mix it
Nope.
and saying, let's do a time travel thing and try and connect it together.
Okay.
That is not something I would do.
No! No!
You could
No!
You could theoretically come up with something about the alternate dimensions, like where Cody Sunchild was in the old Marvel comics and stuff.
Yep. Theoretically.
But it's not something I'd want to do as far as the story goes. It's something that is in the realm of fan fiction for me.
Oh, it's very Star Trekky, isn't it? It's very much J.J. Adrian. J.J. Adrian. I can't say his name. It is very much like
J.J. Abrams
took the franchise and said, "Hey, let's do a time travel thing," and the next thing you know, everything's rebooted due to a time travel hiccup. Which, no thanks. I would definitely much prefer keep them separate. Just from a quality standpoint, frankly, the quality, and it's because of the product. I don't think necessarily the writers were very gifted, the artists were very gifted. Everyone was very talented, and I'm not going to take that away from them. But what made the EU different was the fact that there was a dedicated team for continuity, if not just one person at times. Depends on at what point in Lucasfilm. But that's the sticky glue that kept it all together. Because it's not unusual to find a franchise that's got comics and books and stuff everywhere, but to have them all so contained and so maintained was the beauty of everything. And I'd want to keep that separate. Separate.
Me too.
Yes.
And I forget if I mentioned it earlier, but I definitely have everything go through the continuity editors.
Which would be me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or the person working with you.
Oh. Am I getting a colleague?
Possibly.
Oh, I'd have to talk
His
to HR.
name might be Leland.
Oh, no, he's cool. Yeah, we'll take him. Yeah, I'll work with Leland. That's fine. Yeah. Cool bloke.
Then everything runs together smoothly, and it's not really separate tiers of canon.
Yeah.
It's everything working smoothly. Even though we have those and they exist, that's a separate video talking about.
Oh, that's a very
canon
separate
tiers.
video.
But yes,
There will be tears.
many tiers.
Many tears. Get your tissues ready. Yeah. Yeah, the good old Canon tier video.
Yeah,
That'll be...
which will be going soon.
Oh, how exciting. I'll see you there.
Yeah. So that was that for In Charge of Lucasfilm anyway. So yeah, see you there.
Oh, yeah.